Do you notice anything unusual about this vintage Kenner Jabba the Hutt display? You may notice a couple of things, actually. One is that I've got this translucent holographic Luke figure that I made by printing the Desert Octopus 3D model on my resin 3D printer using translucent blue resin, which I think turned out pretty cool. And in fact, I made a whole video about doing that kind of thing, which you can look at if you like. That's not really what we're here to talk about today, though. I wanted to introduce to you this guy right here. This, as you may be able to tell, is Ephant, Jabba's head of security, but in a vintage Kenner style figure. And of course, as most of you probably are aware, Kenner never made this character in any form, and he's quite a minor character in reality in terms of how much screen time he got. But he is sort of a fan favorite, and obviously he's been recreated now in 2021 as a figure. Well, the interesting thing about this figure, though, I found it when I was browsing through Etsy, actually. I found a store called TheNext17, and this was their first and only figure at that point. They said that this was not a 3D printed figure. This is actually an injection molded plastic figure, similar to the way the original Kenner figures were made. So using metal molds and everything like that, and a factory. And I was really intrigued, so I actually contacted the owner of the shop, and we got to talking, and I mentioned that I run this channel here, and he eventually kindly offered to send one of his figures to me for the channel, but also give one that I could give away to my subscribers, which I happily accepted. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to be doing the giveaway on Instagram. I'll have the details of that right at the end of the video, but we're going to look at this this figure in more detail first. So as I said, it's made out of plastic as opposed to, say, resin or something like that. You can sort of hear it squeaking a little bit the way plastic does. And it's got a nice rubberiness to it, a little bit of give. You can see it on the cane here. You know, it's just a little bit of give there so that it's not super hard and brittle in the way that a lot of times 3D printed things can be. And you can see there's a little give there. So he can hold his cane here with no problem, and you don't have to worry about breaking his fingers off or something like that. He doesn't have articulated feet at all, but that makes sense for this character. He does have what appear to be vintage-sized sort of hexagonal holes there if you wanted to put him on a stand, although it's not necessary. He stands just fine on his own. Also, as far as I can tell, almost everything on here is just the color of the plastic. It's not been painted, with the exception of little details like the teeth and claws and eyes and hair and stuff like that. But I believe this is like a separate piece that's been cast in this color, and then the brown has also been cast in that color as well. He's got quite a bit of heft to him. I feel like maybe, or almost certainly actually, it's solid, as opposed to the vintage figures, of course, famously, were kind of hollow shells that were made in two halves that they would sonic weld together. So in that sense, it's a little bit different than a vintage figure, but style-wise, I think it is definitely a good fit for the vintage Kenner style. Now, these are currently available if you want to go to the TheNext17.com. That's the name of the shop. Next17, of course, is kind of a reference to the last 17, which is what people call the final few figures in Kenner's Star Wars line, such as Man and Yak Face and so forth. So I guess the idea is that he's maybe going to be doing some other characters that never appeared in the line, similar to this one. I doubt if they're all going to be Jabba's Palace related, but maybe some of them will be. I don't know. I don't have any inside information about that. In addition to the figure itself, if you were to order one, you can get some backgrounds here that are on thick card, sort of decorative things here. The idea is you're meant to cut off this little white strip and then tape them together on the back, I guess. I'll do that in just a minute just to show you what it looks like. But you can see here it's got the archway that you can put behind Jabba with the little meat rotisserie, and then he's got another set that's got the Rancor pit grating that you can put in front of the throne. So that's pretty cool as well. It's not a cheap figure, but you know, it does seem like high quality to me, and I think a lot of the collectors who have heard about it have jumped at the chance to get this figure in vintage form. So I thought I would let you know about it. So before I go into the details about the giveaway, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can tape these things together and show you what they look like with the throne. All right, here we have the backgrounds in place, and I think they look pretty impressive, actually, especially this archway in the background. I like that a lot. The Rancor pit grating here actually extends quite a bit in front of the throne, and then the archway as well goes quite a bit farther up. If I was being greedy, I suppose it would be nice to have them be wider than the throne so that you have a little area to the side or something, because if you're like me, you're going to have quite a few sort of ancillary characters on the left and right sides, but I don't really think that's a big deal. These are just meant to kind of, you know, give you the atmosphere of Jabba's palace, and I really think they do a good job of that. So, you know, as a freebie, they are very cool. One other thing, by the way, that you get with this figure is this TheNext17 sort of backer card, I guess. At least it reminds me of a Kenner backer card. And on the back of this, it says collect them all, and it's got, as of now, the only one they've released, which is, of course, Ephant, but they have spaces for several others, which I'm wondering if they don't already have concrete plans for. They've crossed out the names, and I cannot quite make them out, but definitely intriguing there. They've also got variants and backdrops, so I don't know if this is going to be like something that they're going to release as a separate figure or what, but they have a lighter version of Ephant there, and then what looks to be, I guess, a cantina, or perhaps maybe it's just an alcove in Jabba's palace. I can't quite see, at least through the camera right now, what that is intended to be. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what they're going to be coming out with. So what do you do if you want one of these figures? Well, you can go to TheNext17.com. I'm sorry, TheNext17.com. Don't forget. And there'll be a link there to the Etsy page, or perhaps, you know, in the future, if he has a different place to sell them, wherever they are available. As of now, it's Etsy. But you can also get a chance to win one of these absolutely free, sent to you anywhere in the world, and it's going to come with the figure itself, as well as a set of backgrounds that have not been cut out. How do you do that? Well, you're going to go to my Instagram page. There's a specific photo that I'm going to post. By the time this video comes up, it'll be up, and I'll link it in the video description. You go to that photo, like it, follow me if you're not already following me, and then follow, well, first of all, leave a comment on the photo. That'll also sort of serve as your entry, I guess, because it'll make it easier to monitor and choose from all the people who want to enter. then go to the Next17's Instagram page, which I will also link, and follow him. If you can do all those things, I will, in 1 week from today, so today is the, as I make this, it's Friday, September 24th, so it will be actually October 1st, Friday, October 1st, at noon, I will stop the contest, and then sometime after that, within the day probably, we'll announce the winner. And as I say, it'll be completely free, so give it a shot. You got nothing to lose. I will, of course, repeat these instructions in written form on the Instagram page itself, so you can just refer to that as well. All right, well, thanks again to the Next17 for sending these along, and I hope you were as interested in this as I was, because I think it's a really cool idea, and I look forward to what the Next17 will actually be. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in supporting the channel, like these people right here, including Angelica Brady and my other Palace VIPs on Patreon, check out the link in the video description.